Good morning, everyone. This is an exciting day for the city of Cincinnati, Bengals legends, Who Dey Nation, and fans everywhere. We are here to officially announce the Bengals Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor represents excellence, innovation, and the best of the best. This exclusive group will include former players, coaches, and individuals who played a significant role in our franchise's history. 4 people will make up the inaugural class, and we are here to celebrate the first 2 inductees, Pro Football Hall of Famers Paul Brown and Anthony Munoz. We could not have asked for 2 better representatives of our team, our city, and the sport of football. With that, I am happy to answer any of your questions.
Elizabeth, first of all, congratulations on the Ring of Honor, but talk about the idea and the concept. Was this something that was on the drawing board prior to your arrival, or did you come into this and say, I think we need to enhance our legacy by doing this?
So the Bengals do have a great history of honoring our former players in different ways, like banners and the 50th anniversary. We have explored a Ring of Honor in the past. And when I came in, I knew how much our fans wanted a Ring of Honor. And in speaking with my family and others in the organization, I helped, I would say, tease out a key roadblock that was always just a struggle for really taking that step and creating a proper Ring of Honor with names on a facade in the bowl. And that really was that it's just a name. And in the club's shift and investment in building out our content organization, we now have an ability that we never had to do a Ring of Honor in what we think is an innovative way that will display the names in the bowl, but we're pairing that with an archive of video and photos and stories, written content to truly tell the full story of the individuals both inducted into the Ring of Honor and the individuals who will be on a ballot, which I'm sure you guys will have questions sort of about the voting process and that season ticket member and suite holder engagement piece. So I'll not speak to that right now, but to answer your question box around, did we ever consider it and kind of why now? It's this perfect time coming out of 2020, knowing that fan engagement and bringing communities together is more important than ever. And the club's added capabilities in the content space makes us feel really great about doing a Ring of Honor this year and how we're going to roll it out.
Thank you.
The Bengals have been in existence for over 50 years. So I guess can you explain more into detail, like why now, this year, 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. 2020 was a unique year, and engagement with our fans, engagement with the Bengals community, engagement with the Cincinnati community really is more important than ever. We just went through a year where people were isolated and on their own in quarantine and such, and we're really bullish and excited about 2021 coming out of 2020 and placing even more emphasis on engagement and strengthening of community. So it's that combined with, in the last 12 to 14 months, we have added specific individuals in our organization with incredible storytelling and video editing capabilities that just makes this a perfect time.
Following up on Tyler's point about it, the history is so long. What were the discussions like as far as limited it to just the inaugural class to just 4 and not something bigger?
Yep. A great question and a hotly debated topic internally. But the one of the key principles of how we built the Ring of Honor and how we wanted to start the Ring of Honor was building it in a sustainable way. We want it to be prestigious and carry weight and last for a long time. So we just felt like the first 4 was a perfect balance of achieving celebration while maintaining prestige and exclusivity that will mean that future years' inductions will create still extremely high engagement among fans and in the media. So we just felt like it was a great balance.
Elizabeth, how long did it take to get Mike on board? And kind of at what point did you feel optimistic that he was going to, this was something that he was going to really fully put his support behind?
Honestly, and people even internally were like, "Are you sure?" I was optimistic last summer when I came back, and I had great conversations with my grandpa, with my uncle, my parents, others in the organization that made me feel I felt supported. And it really has been, for the last 14 months, a team effort. So I would say I've been pretty optimistic, and the timing just couldn't be better for it happening this year.
Elizabeth, you mentioned easing out a roadblock. Well, can you tell us what the roadblock was?
I think you cut out, Paul. Can you say it again?
I'm sorry. You mentioned teasing out a roadblock. What can you tell us what the roadblock was you guys had to work through?
Yeah. The roadblock or concern of doing a Ring of Honor in what I would describe as a more traditional way of just putting names up somewhere in the bowl, it just didn't feel like you just see a name. And some people might not know what that name is. Some people, it just didn't tell their story. It very much singled out the individual, the name, it's just letters. And these individuals, these names are legends. They are greatness and great. And it was really important for my grandpa specifically to see their face and see them playing and having the ability, even more than just a static picture, even a static picture kind of felt too limiting to shine a light on all of the great things that these individuals did on the field, in the classroom, in the community. So that roadblock was doing the individuals justice and celebrating them in a way that felt big enough for them.
You mentioned fans are going to play a part in this. What is the criteria you want fans to use when they're voting for who the last 2 members will be?
So we haven't touched on this, so I'm going to go into a little bit of an explanation just of the how fans and season ticket members, suite holders will participate. So fans in general, we used the voting, media and voting from the 50th anniversary as one of the criteria as we evaluated and created the ballot. From here, we'll unveil a ballot, which is a set of individuals the organization unanimously feels are worthy of induction to the Ring of Honor. And from there, suite holders and season ticket members will get to vote, and they can use whatever criteria they want. It's really meant to bring season ticket members and suite holders who've been along with us for so long, give them an opportunity. Everyone's going to have different criteria, so we hope that them having a vote and having a voice in this process is fun for them, and they get to choose their criteria, and we will just simply tally the votes because we believe all of the individuals on the ballot are worthy of getting in.
to get on the ballot, the player has to be retired, though, I assume? It doesn't have to be retired X number of years, just has to be a retired player?
Yes.
Elizabeth, it seems like a lot of the things that y'all are doing, in terms of kind of the work you're doing, the new jerseys that are being, going to be unveiled before the start of the season. It seems like a lot of the initiatives right now are trying to re-engage the fan base. And even before COVID, we saw what the attendance numbers were. Why has it been so important right now at this point in the juncture for y'all to maybe re-engage the fan base, and how kind of fervent have those conversations been over the last 14 months?
I would honestly say fan engagement is, a top 3. I never want to say number 1 because then you guys will be like winning, but it is a critical priority for us. And, I think it's always been a critical priority. We're just exploring new ways to tap into the engagement that our fans want. You feel it, you see it. There's this pent up demand for engagement. And it's amazing because now more than ever, with content, with social media, our app, digital channels, on top of games, we have many tools in our toolbox to engage with them. I personally feel the desire from the fans. I want to tap into that and give the fans the engagement that they want. And hopefully, fans are understanding that the engagement and content that you're seeing on our digital channels, we're going to funnel all of that into the game day experience as well, because we want to engage and create a unique, exciting atmosphere at our games as well.
2 more minutes.
Elizabeth,
Where do you
I've
think
got a multi-pronged question for you. First, if a season, is it 1 vote per season ticket holder, or if they have 8 tickets, do they get 8 votes? And then secondly, do you know the average age of your season ticket holders and or the average length of time they've had season tickets?
Got it. So to answer your first half of the question, the voting is, I'm kind of excited about this. The voting is based on season ticket members' tenure. So it's 1 vote per account. There was I didn't want it to get too complex, but for our season ticket members who have been with us since the beginning, their vote counts as 54 because they've been with us for 54 years. And somebody who signs up for season tickets this year for the first time, they still get a vote. It counts for 1. It doesn't have anything to do with their seats, but it has something to do with their tenure. And I hope that shows our season ticket holders and suite holders how much we genuinely value and appreciate your loyalty to us. Your second part of your question, Jay, can you repeat it? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you know the average age of your season ticket holders and the average tenure number of years they've had tickets?
This is a statistic I should know, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm not even going to give you an answer, but I would say in the 15 to 20 year range. But we have a lot of season ticket members who have been with us 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and it's amazing. And to them, I just say thank you, and I hope you're really excited about this Ring of Honor.
We have time for one last question.
Elizabeth, why do you think you have such a good feel for the fan base and the temperature of the fan base? What has given you that to bring to the organization and help make the changes that you have over the past few months?
I think it's because I grew up a fan, genuinely. I grew up and went to every single one of our games for all of my childhood. I went to all the games in the 90s. I went to all the games in the 2000s. When I was working in consulting and in private equity, I would fly home for home games. And I've had just the great fortune of being able to come to our games. And I really feel like I'm a fan at heart. So with that, I will say thank you. I'm eating into Anthony's time. So thank you all so much for your time this morning. And with that, I'm very excited to turn it over to one of our inaugural inductees and the greatest left tackle in the game, Anthony Munoz. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, we're having technical difficulties right here, so bear with us for a second.
Appreciate that. It's really an honor and to be here for this day. It's an exciting day, at the same time very humbling to be part of this Ring of Honor, the inaugural inductees. So it is exciting. I just want to say that to begin with, that I am very thankful. Of course, a lot of years ago, my heart is still grateful that when there was a time in 1980 when a lot of clubs weren't going to take a chance and give me a chance to play in the NFL, that Paul Brown and the Brown family took a shot, even though I had a history of injuries. And so I'll always be thankful for that. And the fact that this day's taken place and I get a chance to enter the Ring of Honor with Paul Brown, it's amazing. So with that being said, I'll open it up to questions now.
Hi, Anthony. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You know, you're the only Bengals player in the Hall of Fame, and now you're part of the inaugural Ring of Honor class. How does, all that make you feel as a former player?
Well, like I said, it's exciting. I'm very thankful. At the same time, I know with the Ring of Honor, I'm going to have, probably former teammates with me the way it should be up in Canton. And, I guess that would be the difference between this Ring of Honor and the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame it's a lot more frustrating for me because I could give you a handful of guys that I believe, not just because I was their teammates, but because of their qualifications, should be in Canton with myself. But I think this is exciting, the Ring of Honor, because I think it's a time to celebrate as guys that played for this organization even before I got here, while I was here, played with them, and even after. But I think it's a great celebration, not only for the guys, but for the organization and for the city.
Who initially told you that you were going to be part of the Ring of Honor, and how was that conversation like?
Well, it was quite a surprise because I had talked to the organization. This is my 20th anniversary for my foundation, so I'm trying to get as many people engaged to really have a bigger impact on the community and the youth as we've been doing for 20 years. And I'd contacted the Bengals, and then it went from a phone call to, hey, can you come in and we can chat about it a little more? So I came down here to Paul Brown Stadium expecting to talk more about our 20th anniversary of the foundation. All of a sudden I walk into the boardroom, the conference room, and there's Mike and there's Katie and Troy and Elizabeth, and the whole family was there. I think PB was getting a little rehab, little physical therapy on his hip that he's kind of tweaked a little bit. And we sat down. I was expecting to talk foundation, but Mike started by sharing with me that this was going to take place, and that his father, Paul Brown, the great Paul Brown, and myself were going to be the first two, and which was pretty exciting because it went from that to kind of going, oh my goodness, to sitting there for maybe a half an hour and just sharing stories. I shared some about Paul Brown. We talked about this person, and just I think that's what's going to be exciting about this whole thing is not only having the names there at the stadium, but really, as Elizabeth shared, having the archives and the documentation of hopefully things that have happened for 50 plus years. So that's how it happened for me. I was here at the stadium and with almost the entire family.
Anthony, if you look at this acknowledgement and you think about all the things that have been awarded you because of the work you put in for the game, where in your mind is this starting to rank in terms of all the achievements that you acquired over the course of your career?
Well, Box, I think for me, I share a little bit the fact that the Brown family, the Bengals organization, took a shot with me back in 1980. They drafted me. I played my entire career here, all 13 years. This is our 41st year that we've been living here in Cincinnati, so this is home. So it's extra special now that this is happening, the Ring of Honor, and that I'll be in the inaugural class. So it's right up there on the top because it is my home. It's our home. It's an organization I played for my whole career, and so the Bengal stripes is that's it for me. So it's very, very special, right up there at the top.
Thank you.
Morning,
Anthony. Anthony, do you think this could help your former teammates potentially in their Hall of Fame case?
I hope so. I really do. Now I'm dealing with a lot of the senior selectors and some of the regular selectors. They might call me for opinion on other guys, and I just happen to take all the conversation with them because I have one number 14 that should be in, and that's my focus right now. I am a diehard advocate of Kenny Anderson. He should be in. Hopefully this Ring of Honor, that these selectors can see that this organization has had some great players. I mean, like I said, before me, I can name after name of guys that I played with that are deserving not only of the Hall of Fame, but this Ring of Honor. And of course, 14, 13, 14, Kenny Riley, Kenny Anderson, 85, Isaac Curtis. So hopefully this will help. Hopefully this will open the eyes of the selectors and say, man, this organization has had some great players over the years.
Anthony, how much more does that strengthen your case when you're talking to them? Then you can point to something tangible and physical that says, yeah, you have all the numbers that you've probably spouted off for years, but now that you can physically point to something and say, they're honored by the franchise as well, how much more does that strengthen your case, just aside from the numbers and anecdotes that you may have?
Well, hopefully it helps quite a bit. I don't know how much. I mean, this is a great honor, and like I said, I hope it does. But when you have, and I keep going back to Kenny Anderson, when you have his career stats, I've looked at least a half dozen quarterbacks in the Hall, and his stats are better, far better, a little better than a lot of those guys. You look at his stats, you look at the testimonials of guys that played for Bill Walsh out on the West Coast, and quarterback after quarterback after quarterback says, when I got into Bill Walsh's system, who did I watch on tape? Kenny Anderson, because he ran it the best, and that's where it all started. And you have guys, from the Steelers that played against him that have testimonials. So to answer your question, hopefully this does enhance my argument, and hopefully it does help. But this is an exciting day.
Hey, Anthony, Jeremy Rao, Fox 19. I wanted to ask you just about the direction of the franchise right now and just the engagement with the fans that you could see the Bengals are trying to do. Have you noticed that? And how much do you think that this organization needed to reinstill some of that excitement in the fan base again?
Well, Jeremy, I think it's been a very positive move by the Bengal organization. I think going back 2-3 years ago when, the 50th anniversary and, bringing the players in and engaging them, not only during games and not only just the guys that were the top 50, but it was, and I think this is going to be the same thing with the Ring of Honor, not only the guys that will be inducted to the Ring of Honor, but I think it's going to be a celebration for all the guys, for all our teammates to really, because if it wasn't, I'm sitting here one of the first guys in, but I saw his face on the screen. If it wasn't for Dave Lapham, who I played my first 4 years next to, or, Max Montoya, or, the other lineman that I played next to, this wouldn't have happened. So the fact that they are engaging with the fans, it's been a handful of years that I've started to notice that with the different things. And like I said, not just bringing the guys to the game, but having dinners the night before, having us on the, out on the plaza level before games, interacting with the fans. So I think they continue to move in the right direction with the fan engagement and what they're doing.
Anthony, you're not just an inductee, you're a season ticket holder, you're a voter. Can you tell us who you're voting for in the inaugural class?
I'll let you know afterwards. I tell you what, it's like anything you vote for, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because, hopefully, I don't know how many votes I'll get, or if, I haven't even found that out. You're the first one that's mentioned that. But there's a lot of guys before me that I played, and even after me, that are retired that are deserving. So I'm going to have to really process and look that one over closely.
Anthony, good morning. How you doing, my man?
Good. How you doing, Lap?
Good. You'd mentioned it earlier, the fact that you're already in the Hall of Fame in Canton. Obviously, that's the greatest honor that any football player can have. But to get in the Ring of Honor and have the 20th anniversary of your foundation the same year, it speaks to what you did on the field and what you've done off the football field. How significant is it to you that your foundation is in its 20th year and here comes the Ring of Honor?
You know what? It's you mentioned the foundation in 20 years. I can honestly tell you that I wake up in the morning, at night, I'm thinking about different ways to engage the community, to have impact on the kids that we're working with. If it's, our camps or our mentoring programs or leadership seminars or our scholarships, it's something that I'm very passionate about, Lap, and you know that because you've been a great supporter at our dinners, at our golf tournaments, and a lot of things we do. So the fact that we've been able to sustain that foundation for 20 years is our 20th. And quite frankly, the first 3 months of this year probably energized me more than the last 5 or 6 years because of the retention of corporate partners, the new corporate partners, the excitement of those in this community that see what we're doing and believe in what we're doing. I guess that's the big thing, is they believe and they can see the impact through what we're doing. And, one of the things that I tell people, I didn't start it till 8 years after I retired because I wanted to be totally engaged. If I put my name on it, I wanted to make sure that I knew what was going on. And I know what's going on. I can tell you that, we just had our last audit, and we're 91 cents per the dollar for the kids. And, it's one of those things that when we raise money, I want to make sure that the most money, per dollar, we want the most to go right to the kids. And, they call me the senior intern because I show up just about every day when I'm in town. I don't take a penny from the foundation. It's just a passion. So, Lap, you're right. The sustainability of what we're doing with the foundation, I'm thankful not only for our team there at the foundation, but I look at it in a bigger picture, the team here in Cincinnati. I keep telling people I played 13 years for, 50 plus guys as a team. Now I'm on a much bigger team here in this great community. And that's, getting people engaged corporately, privately, to believe in what we're doing, to be part of what we're doing with the impact. So I know we can't do it alone, and I'm thankful for this community. So it means quite a bit.
Anthony, congratulations. Elizabeth talked a lot about the waiting to do this the right way, the way they wanted to do it, to have multimedia and really telling the story of the inductees. How much have you been told about that, and what do you think the main theme of your story is going to be?
Well, I think first of all, I've been around Elizabeth twice, and I tell you what, you talk about sharp mind, energetic, enthusiastic, but really you can tell she's not just talking about being a fan, she is a fan. I guess the one thing she mentioned, and one of the times I was with her, she said, my grandfather went to Dartmouth. My mom went to Dartmouth, so I wanted to go to Dartmouth. I wanted to keep that legacy going. So I know when she talks about legacy and what's happened with this organization, I know it's real. It's exciting. I've already been in here, and I think I sat in this chair, and they interviewed me for about an hour, just kind of my story, and talked about from the first time that I met Forrest Gregg, and he put me through a workout, to the first time I had lunch with Pete Brown and Jimmy McNally, who was my coach my entire time, and when they flew me here. And I going through the physicals and being the last guy out. So, what's going to be the theme of mine is just, I guess I would just use the word thankful. That would be the theme of, that describes, how I feel about this and what's happened in the past is just, I'm grateful. And, but it's exciting. When they talk about document and having, archives about what's going on, I can see that happening. I think that's going to be great for fans, because I'm an old guy now. There's young people that don't remember seeing me play or Lap play, but if they can get a chance to see from that 81, season, that 82 Super Bowl, or even 88, because there's kids that, I go out and speak to kids and you talk about Super Bowls and they're like, wait, Bengals Super Bowl? I said, yeah, 2, and hopefully there'll be another one soon. So the fact that they're going to be documenting that and archiving that, I think it's exciting.
You're being inducted with Paul Brown. What do you hope people learn about him through this experience?
Oh my goodness. I tell you what, I've been, I'm one that talks about Paul Brown all the time, especially now that I spend a lot of time up in Canton. I've been to Paul Brown Stadium there at Massillon High School a number of times. I just drive up and I see his picture up there. I've been in the Paul Brown indoor facility. And, so it's, I hope young players, especially not only young players that play in this league, but young players that play for this organization, hopefully they learn and they see what Paul Brown did for the game, how, forward thinking, innovative he was, because the guy was just amazing. When you have a coach that grew up around him and is considered one of the best coaches now in Bill Belichick, and he flat out said the best coach ever was Paul Brown. I mean, that's highly regarded by one of the best coaching now. And so I would hope that through this whole process that people look and can really learn more about Paul Brown, what he brought to the game, things that, people take for granted, playbooks and videotaping practices and face masks and things like that. And, that people learn what he did and how much he means to this game. So for me to be, going in this first year of the Ring of Honor with Paul Brown, it's just, it's very humbling for a guy from Ontario, California, to be going in with the guy that has done so much for the NFL.
Anthony, you are obviously
talk a little bit about.
I'm sorry, Anthony. You're going to get a say in who goes next in the Ring of Honor. You're going to get some significant votes. But if by chance you were given the power to make a top 5 pick for the Bengals, would you go with an offensive lineman from the Pac-12, or would you go with an offensive weapon? Just curious.
Well, let's say first of all, let's say I got unlimited of 7 guys that I could vote for this next year for the Ring of Honor. I think I'd go Lapham, Montoya, Reimers, Kozerski, Walter, Moonpie. No, okay, I can't go on lineman. But if they said, Anthony, we're going to allow you to make this first pick, the number 5 pick, I would be pretty excited. Even though he's a nemesis, he's been a nemesis to my Trojans, I would have to go with the guy up from Eugene, Oregon with Panay. I've watched him several times. I think having signed Riley Reef, you got Jonah, you got Hopkins coming back, you got Sifu. I mean, and now you add Panay to the mix. I think if my name was Joe Burrow, I'd be pretty happy.
Anthony, when you talked to Mike and he shared the great news with you about the Ring of Honor, did he maybe inquire to you as to maybe something else that should be factored into, those getting selected for the Ring of Honor, or was it pretty much set and then it just moved on to making you that inaugural person?
Yeah, he just kind of told me what was going on. And then the fun thing for me was that led from, okay, he turned it over to Elizabeth and she kind of shared the details. But then we sat there for maybe a half an hour and just shared stories. I shared a story about his dad, and we shared stories about, Forrest Gregg and guys that we've been associated with. So really didn't think about criteria or process more than just, okay, here's what's happening. And then, happen what usually happens. I think back to when we celebrated the 50th and had those dinners on Saturday night, and, Lapp was emceeing it and Horde, and, just getting a chance to hear stories. I mean, the first time I met Tommy Casanova was that year, and to hear about when they were playing. And, of course, I've known Trumpy forever, but I wasn't playing when he was playing, or Bob Johnson and, guys like that. So that's what it led to, Box, when that happened, was just, the storytelling and just starting to reminisce about the history of this great franchise.
2 more minutes.
Hey, Anthony,
Seg, I know you need to get it in. Go ahead.
Congratulations. You talked a little bit about Paul Brown's going in with you, but what about the other coaches, assistant coaches and head coaches? You got a myriad of people there that could go into this Ring of Honor.
Seg, I tell you what, and when I talk about Bengal history, my Bengal history, Segman has got to be right there. Mini camp, Stouffer's hotel. I hear a knock on the door, and there's this guy that I look, and he says, "Anthony Munoz, come with me." And I'm like, "Well, who are you?" Well, there was Segman take me over to the radio station to do some radio, and so we've had a great relationship throughout the whole time. But I had to share your question again. when you start talking, I had to think about that time at the Stouffer's Hotel.
Just the fact is that other like head coaches,
yeah, okay, yeah, I got you.
Coaches could be part of this deal too.
You know, one of the things that I've shared at the Hall of Fame, and in my humble opinion, you know, there's head coaches that deserve to be in. I mean, I played for, you know, two great head coaches, totally different, Forrest Gregg and Sam Weiss, and hopefully that's part of the process, because both of those guys, you know, Forrest came here when the franchise had just gone through 2, 4, and 12 years, takes us to the Super Bowl. You know, second year he's here. Sam Weiss gets here, and we struggle, but then go to a Super Bowl. But my point I wanted to make is that I had a Hall of Fame tackle as my first head coach. For 4 years, he did not coach me once on the offensive line. So I've shared this with the Hall of Fame. When do assistant coaches start getting the recognition they deserve? My coach for all 13 years was Jim McNally. He developed, he coached us. Those are the guys that spend all the time with the guys developing those guys. I mean, you look at, you know, any lineman, any D lineman, it's their position coaches that develop them. So hopefully as we move down the road, that will be something where assistant coaches get their due. And again, like I said, I've talked to the staff up at the Hall of Fame. I've talked to selectors about when is it when assistant coaches, you know, will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame for their contribution, because I'm sure you talk to all the guys that are in the Hall, and I'm sure they're going to talk about their position coach that made it possible for them to play at the highest level.
One last question.
You know, Anthony, you played at Riverfront when you know y'all were, you know, at the peak of the franchise. Obviously, you've seen the franchise do very well in Paul Brown Stadium now. How much are you looking forward to seeing a stadium where the fan atmosphere is what it used to look like when this franchise was rolling? And do you like some of the things that are happening this year can kind of help maybe stoke a fan base that's been dormant for several years?
Well, and you know, I'm going to speak for myself, but I know I can speak for a lot of the former players. We're some of the biggest fans of the team right now. We want them to win badly. We come to the games. I know I come to the games. And one of the things I continue to say is that we had a chance to play 2 AFC championship games at home in Riverfront, go to 2 Super Bowls, and to have a packed stadium of your home fans, to give them, you know, the gift of playing every playoff game at home before you go to – that's what it's all about. And that's, I know for myself personally, that's what I want to see for the city, for this organization, and for the guys that are dressing up and going out there on Sunday or Monday night or whatever day they're playing now during the week. And, you know, I go out and speak to a lot of kids, and I talk about the jungle. Or I should say, they ask me, don't you wish you played in the jungle? And I say, well, I got to give you a little history lesson here. The jungle started at Old Riverfront Stadium. But I'd love to see that reignite and become, you know, as crazy as it was in the Old Riverfront Stadium now here at Paul Brown Stadium, and to host not only, you know, the playoff game, but an AFC championship game as the team goes off to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, there's nothing more that I would love to see, because this is a great sports town. You know, we stayed here. This is home, and I love for the teams to do well here, but especially Paul Brown Stadium, I'd love for to be rocking on Sunday afternoon. I'd love for the tailgates to be rocking before the games again, where you can barely get around making your way into the stadium. But that is something that I'd love to see here. And hopefully with all the player engagement and what's going on here, that will spark the excitement and get people back in the stadium. And, of course, we know you have to win games. So get a healthy Joe Burrow back there running the offense, get that defense going, and get Panay in the mix on that offense. No, I just had to throw that in.
All right, Anthony, we'll wrap it up with you. We appreciate your time. Of course, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate each and every one of you. You'll have a great day.